So I'm going to read from some notes that I took when I channeled earlier. Self-approval, it is not about acceptance, though it stems from that. It's not about non-judgment, for that is too passive to pacify the mental body. It is about the perseverance of self-alignment, fiercely supporting yourself. And some of the phrases that I, Lisa, hear myself say that are signals of me not approving of myself. I'm going to share them with you because it's really easy for us to think, in theory, yes, I do approve of myself. Yes, I do believe in myself. Yes, I accept who I am. I love myself. Yes, yes, yes. But then we have these little thoughts, these secret cognitions that we're not really even aware of on an active plane that demonstrate our moments of disapproval. And so some of mine have been things like, I don't want to overstep. I don't want to step on your toes. I'm sorry. Am I in your way? Am I bothering you? I know you're also having a hard time. And all of these phrases, they have this underlying assumption that I don't matter or my needs aren't as important as another's. And so sometimes it's not that I actively will say, I don't want to step on your toes, but in my mind, that is the rule system I'm operating from. I don't want to step on your toes, so therefore I'll hedge everything I say. So therefore I'll phrase something as a question as opposed to a statement, because even though I know what I think, I don't want you to be put off by me thinking it with force. And so I'll ask it when I really just mean it. The phrase, I'm sorry. Now, I know there are times when you might truly be sorry. And for me, I overuse it. I don't even know I'm saying it. I was out with my cousin and we were walking around and she brought up that I'd said sorry multiple times in a store with my son. And even now I'm like, no, did I? But just the fact that I'm just not always even aware of when I say it. And when I say I'm sorry, I use it in multiple meanings. And I think the English language is missing some phrases here. I think other languages might have this better articulated. Sometimes when I say I'm sorry, I mean, I believe that I could have done this differently and I wish that I had, and in the future I will, or I intend to. That's kind of like the main way of sorry. But the other way that I use it is I empathize, or I feel with you, or I hear what you're saying, or I'm with you. But instead of saying those words, I'll say, oh, I'm sorry, which implies that I wish something hadn't been the way that it was. There's a fault or a blame to the word sorry. And so where I'm at now and where I've been guided to go from loving light, the essence that I transmit, is to work on not saying sorry. Now, this is an action that often needs to stem from a change of thought stream, because I'm plugged into a thought stream of not totally approving of myself. And so therefore I'm wandering around, not wanting to be caught in my disapproval by making sure whatever I do is in the approvance of others. And so if you say sorry, you're trying to get on someone else's good side again. You're trying to be like, oof, if I say sorry, maybe then you'll forgive me because I did something wrong. Even though I know I didn't do something wrong, I get back in your good graces. And if I can get back in your good graces, then you're approving of me. And if you're approving of me, then I feel like maybe there's hope that I can approve of me too. And so it's an indirect way to get to self-approval. So if you hear yourself say you're sorry, and you maybe don't genuinely feel like you actually did anything wrong, or even you're just not sure if you did, that's actually a clue for you to know you're trying to get back into approval. So it's a good thing. It's a sign that you care and that you are on a quest for self-approval. And so the next step, though, is to not need to go through another person to get to the approval. I'm not saying that doing so is wrong. It is a step. It's a way there. Everything that we experience is an illumination, a manifestation of our own energetic consciousness. And so if we're coming and saying, I'm sorry, in order to hope another accepts us, we're creating an opening for us to accept and then approve of ourselves because we see someone else said it's okay. It is a way there, but it is no longer needed. And maybe never was, but often we're trained, we're conditioned to be in that way, especially those who seek the light in a very active capacity. So we're on a quest to not say sorry. And the way that this can look for me is I still notice. I notice that I'm noticing. I notice that I'm noticing that I say I'm sorry. And when you notice that you're noticing that you say sorry, you're creating separation from the sorry. Because anytime you notice something is an indication of observing. And to be able to observe, you need to separate into the observer role. So if I can see or hear myself say, I am sorry, and I notice myself doing that, and then I notice that I've noticed it, I am separating myself from the sorry. And I'm creating this space for me to choose differently. Often when it comes to change, we know what we want to change, but we haven't yet done it. And so we just become aware of the times we didn't do it. And sometimes we use that against ourselves and we say, God, I said sorry again, or gosh, I blah, 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 whatever it is you're trying to change. But the truth is that that's actually a good sign. So instead of judging yourself for not changing that moment, praise yourself for noticing what you did. As we're waking ourselves up to it, we give ourselves the chance to shift. And then eventually doesn't have to mean a time component. It can mean an alignment component. Eventually, as in when alignment realizes, you won't need to witness yourself and try to manage the saying of being sorry because you genuinely won't feel it in the same way. And so for me, what I'm doing is when I notice myself say, I'm sorry, I go internally, aha, I caught it. And often out loud, I'll say, wait, I'm not sorry, but I do feel for you. I actively tell myself I am not sorry. Now, I know there are some teachers out there who say that you don't want to phrase things in the negative because at the soul level, which operates in a more thematic capacity, it doesn't understand the not. It just hears the word. So if you say, I'm not something, all your self hears is the something. And so if you are in that modality of teaching, you would say saying I'm not sorry is still being sorry. But I actually have found that not to be the case for me. What I've found is that when I'm changing, to acknowledge the theme and say not is showing me that I'm not claiming it anymore. So when I say, oh, I'm sorry, and I don't mean it, which is almost, I would say 99% of the time, I don't actually mean I'm sorry. I'm just trying to get back into someone's good graces because it's easier than the conflict of sitting in my power knowing that they might not agree. That's at least what I had been telling myself. But what I'm learning is it's not easier. So now I say, oh, I notice I said I'm sorry, and I'll go, wait, I'm not sorry. And I likely will say it out loud if it feels like a safe space to do so. If it doesn't feel like a safe space, I will, under my breath, I'm not sorry. Like I'll still kind of tell myself that I'm not sorry. And then I'll say what I actually am. I'm concerned. I feel for you. I hear you. I've been there too. I believe I get what you're saying. And when I do that, it allows me to meet myself. I find when I say I'm sorry, it's also coming from this place of thinking I'm supposed to be superhuman. Like, yeah, I know that I didn't do anything wrong. But if I say sorry, then they know that I'm trying. And if I'm trying, then they might open up. And so it's almost like a manipulation that I've learned to do because it works. Because if it's, what does they call it? Is it fawning? You know how there's the fight, flight, freeze? There's also fawn. That's another stress response or a learned capacity, especially for women, but anyone can have this response. It's like the puppy that whimpers in the corner. You want to care for the puppy. You maybe aren't hurting, but you say you're sorry because you know that then somebody will probably want to help you. And then when they help you, you get what you were after. You're not abandoned. You get support. So it works. But the truth is it doesn't work because you have stopped supporting yourself. I'm saying you, but I'm really talking to myself here. Like, I think me saying sorry, or have thought me saying sorry, is a way for me to get back in someone else's good graces and get their support so they don't abandon me. And then I get to avoid the conflict of how it can feel when I'm on a different page from someone else. And so I lie by saying I'm sorry, knowing I'm not sorry, but what I'm really intending and after is I want to feel connected again. And the only way I've known how, or I learned how, my survival response has been, I disconnect from my own truth so that I can connect with you. And then when you hopefully connect with me in response, I then can allow myself to connect back with me. But it's really hard to connect back with me when I've denied myself in order to get there. And so when I say sorry and I don't mean it, the real person that I need to apologize to is myself. Ooh, what a cliffhanger. What is one to do when we're over apologizing? Well, don't worry. I won't leave you in sorry land forever. I'm not going to leave you hanging there. In the next video, we're going to walk through exactly how to shift out of sorry and into self-approval. I'll see you there.